Pigeonflight groomed his fur. He'd just woken up. It was dawn now. Most of camp was out at Fortress for the gathering. Sweettooth and him weren't allowed to go. Bitterstar, their father, leader of ThunderClan, would be there, and he wasn't supposed to know they were here. He wasn't supposed to know they existed. They were a product of a half-clan relationship, and their mother, Dove Breeze, had long since passed. Bitterstar, knowing he had kin in windclan, was a recipe for disaster. So here they stay, hidden.
Sweettooth opened her eyes quietly, lifting her head. It was early, and despite her lack of sleep, her body wouldn't allow her to rest any longer. She nudged her brother. "Good morning."
He dipped his head in return. He wasn't super excited for breakfast today. He was tired of frogs. He wanted rabbits again. He drew his tongue over her back fur to clean where she'd been laying. They didn't even have moss to sleep in. We should get ready for the meeting, to see what happened at the gathering.
She nodded, moving herself onto her paws. "Let's."
It was far past dawn now. Where was Ivory Star? And the rest of the clan? Brightbee carried Ivory Star's body over her back, rushing in as fast as she could without dropping the leader's limp body. An expression of anguish mixed with rage flooded her face. He quickly hopped up, pushed aside by the group of cats. What? Ivory Star is dead, she called, her voice loud and attempting to not have to shake it too bad as she lowered her leader down with as much grace as it was possible to. His hackles rose as the leader slumped down onto the ground. Ivory Star. He looked up at his sister, searching for comfort. His eyes hardened as he heard the name Bitterstar. Bitterstar killed her at a gathering.
She froze as she heard that name, immediately looking for her brother. It was a certain kind of fear and shame that only they could understand.
This will not go unpunished, she roared, leaping onto the rock, so that the clan could hear her better. We will join together with RiverClan and windclan to put an end to this reign of terror. His eyes tracked Brightbee as she leapt to the rock. He stepped forward, crouching over Ivory. His eyes grew wet as he tapped her with his nose. Where he expected warmth was only the stiff coldness of her body. Ivory Star had taken care of them after they were sent here by Smogstar. I will speak to Deerstar and Smogstar immediately to prepare for this fight to come. I will not allow Bitterstar to remain in this forest for a single moon longer. He killed our leader. This will not stand. What did this mean for Bitterstar? The thought popped up in his head. He couldn't feel bad for his father. Not when what he'd done was laying dead in front of him. But it felt off. I will see this done before I go to the Moonstone. She gritted her teeth. I will gather a patrol, and we will leave before sunset.
Suddenly something shifted in her gaze, stepping towards Brightbee. "Brightbee, we want to come with you. Our father has hurt your clan, and we want to make it right."
We? He turned, padding to her side. Sweettooth, this isn't our fight, he whispered. No, the reason you are here is so he doesn't know of your whereabouts. Her gaze was hard. Your offer is noble, but you can't do this.
"But we can't keep hiding from him. I hate being left behind and letting everyone else do the work."
The best thing we can do is not get involved. If he knows, he's going to attack windclan and do even worse. Stay here. Pay your respects to Ivory Star if you wish, then go back into your dens. I can't be sure ThunderClan won't show up here while I'm gone. She shook her head. All this is for your own good. A flash of hurt showed in his eyes. He agreed with Sweettooth. Being hidden made him feel like a burden, but there wasn't anything else they could do.
Her eyes flipped from the leader to her paws, shame and anger burning at her pal. She didn't want to admit it, but they were right, so she stayed silent, moving towards Ivory Star.
He rested his head on Sweettooth's leg.
Sweettooth was the first to break the silence, pressing her head against her brother's. "Come on, We should get back to our den. We need rest.
He had nearly dozed off, thinking about everything. Every star was like a parent to them after Breeze and Smogstar. Yeah. Pigeonflight woke. It had been a few days since Star was killed. He wasn't sure how many. They had been kept in the Sparrow Den. Brightbeard's patrol had driven out Bitterstar. But no cat knew where he went. So for now, they'd be in this den. Brightstar padded into the den, looking from one sibling to the other. There's someone here to see you, she murmured.
The warrior lifted her head, shaking the sleepiness from her mind. Someone's here to see us, she mumbled.
He lifted onto his paws. Was it Smogstar? Pepperstar has come to bring you back to windclan. Pepperstar? He echoed.
She jumped to her paws, wide awake. What do you mean?
She dipped her head. I'm sure he will explain everything to you on the way. It's not my place to tell you what happened. She started exiting, flicking her tail for them to follow. The newly appointed windclan leader stepped up to give a kind look to the pair, bowing his head towards Brightstar. The time has come for you two to return to windclan. Bitterstar no longer plagues us. Where is Smogstar? He pressed. A mildly melancholic look grew on his face, though he chirped out a reassuring note. Don't worry, he's alive. He just stepped down to retire.
Sweettooth breathed a sigh of relief, her shoulders relaxing. Thanks, StarClan.
He seemed relieved, but still, Smogfrost wasn't leader anymore. Alright. Pepperstar turned to Brightstar, his emotion hard to read, before he finally spoke up. Thank you for what you've done for us. I'm sorry for the loss of Ivory Star. He bowed his head, gratefully. Of course. Thank you, Pepperstar. I hope that WindClan and ShadowClan can continue to support each other in the future. She dipped her head with thankfulness. Do update me at the next gathering, how the two of them settled back in. They were talking about him when he was right there. He glanced between them both awkwardly. Pepperstar nodded firmly, before turning to the pair with a sigh. Well, are you two ready to finally come home?
She looked back before nodding. Of course. I can't wait to get back to our nests. The she cat mewed.
He nodded. The word home seemed misplaced. Thank you, Brightstar. Pepperstar let out a small sigh of relief, as if he'd been holding his breath the whole time they'd been in ShadowClan territory. Smogfrost should be in the Elder's Den, if you want to see him. He nodded. He didn't wait for Sweet to confirm. He just made his way over. He sniffed the air, sensing a presence.
She sat down, stifling a gasp. Your eyes.
Sweettooth, Pigeonflight, it's really you! He couldn't forget their scent. He swallowed, trying to stay composed. What happened? Bitterstar... He caught himself. Bitterclaw. It happened when we were driving him out.
I'm just glad you're alive. We're glad. She nudged Pigeonflight, giving him a soft smile.
He glanced over at her. He had more to say, but whatever. I'm glad y'all are back and safe. You should go catch up with the clan. I'm sure they would be happy to see you too, he said with a smile. He nodded. The sight of Smogfrost so weak was upsetting. He scanned the camp. Everything looked exactly the same, but different. Like everything had been the same without him. Nothing changed, but everything was different. He curled up next to his sister. At least she was the same.
He rolled over, pushing Pigeonflight out of the nest. Morning, she mumbled, unaware.
He nearly slipped over the edge of the cliff. He'd gotten used to the closed-off ShadowClan den. Patrols. Sage Whisker, Redwood Trot, and Silhouetted Moon head out on border. And know what? Take Auburn Grass with you too. Sweep everything twice, he huffed. That's all the patrols I have for you all. The rest make good use of your time. His ears perked. Hey. We could go hunting or something. Rather have you adjust, no? It's been a while since you've been back. He narrowed his eyes. We grew up here. His tail twitched. We aren't strangers to the territory. How is it with those frog breath cats? The cat said in a relatively mocking tone, stepping up to his brother. Of course you are. Didn't say such. Just don't want you tripping on a rock. He sighed at his brother's more brash response.
Sweettooth's ears perked up. No, he's right. That's very kind of you, Stormspot. Thank you, she purred.
His fur bristled. He smiled, dipping his head. My pleasure. Take some rest. He turned around with a grunt. I'm gonna hunt anyway. He wrinkled his camp. I can't stay in another camp for any longer.
The she-cat frowned. That's not a good idea. Stormspot said.
Stormspot doesn't know what we're dealing with. What I'm dealing with. I don't care. The scent of mouse in his nose calmed him. Finally, windclan prey again. No more frogs and fish. He glanced around for Sweettooth, the only cat he really cared to talk to. Do you want a mouse? He purred, proud.
She settled down next to him, smiling back. Of course, she purred back, settling into a crouch. She couldn't wait to eat windclan prey again.
His eyes narrowed to the mouse in the sibling's maw. He slickly walked over to nod and dismiss the patrol. Enjoying fresh kill. Better than such prey there. His eyes narrowed. I caught it myself. His tail curled around his paws. I'm not so rusty, see? Quite small, don't you think? He'd bluntly meow. You did. Didn't I say to not do such a thing? You said I shouldn't go on a patrol. Not hunt on my own. His whiskers flicked. I said relax. To not work yourself to the bone. You're not in ShadowClan anymore. He lowered his head, tone with slight malice.
She sat up straight, the half-eaten mouse at her paws. Hey, one mouse won't overwork us, she chirped quickly, trying to keep up a joking tone, but the words only sounded awkward.
Of course, of course. He bit his tongue.
I assume you've all been through a lot in the past few days, so since we're back, we're here to make up for our absence.
Why are you acting like we aren't just warriors? He tensed. I've been in this clan longer than you've been deputy. Oh, yes, it's been... He turned to Pigeon. You think. Funny. Funny, right? Indeed. They really think. You don't get what we went through. After you two left us. Left, he yowled. We were sent away.
He glanced at Pigeonflight. It's not like we had a choice in the matter.
Sure, of course, save the innocent kids from their awful father. No choice. Like we had a choice to fight in a war. Your father raided our camp. Your father forced our leader into retirement. Your father killed Ivory Star. And what did you do? Hide. Leaving us in the dust to face his wrath. To save yourselves. To save your family. Who knows? If you never existed, would we have even dealt with Bitterstar's wrath? He narrowed his eyes. Malice, dripping in his slit pupils, waiting for a reply. The shine from his eyes seemed to fade. He tensed. He didn't even have words, just anger. There's nothing he could say that would make this cat understand. His claws, however... Exactly. He turned back to his brother, mean-looking them over his shoulder. But hey, you're here now, so enjoy it. While it lasts. He let out a snarl, leaping forward with unsheathed claws.
She pulled him away, eyes wide. That's enough! Stormspot, don't let your position get to your head. We're just as much as a warrior as anyone here. She stepped in front of Pigeonflight, fur bristling.
He scoffs. Watch yourself. Smogfrost isn't leader anymore. He can't protect you from your anger. Speaking mostly to Pigeon behind Sweettooth's pelt. You're right by that, but you don't hold any power either, so... He smiled. We'll see who keeps talking. Silvertail, let's go. We have business to do.
She quickly turned to her brother, nuzzling him.
He stepped back, pushing her away. No! Why are you acting like that was okay?
What part of what I said suggests that? There's nothing we could do about it. Not right now. Tensions are high.
I'm not going to let them treat us like that. I don't care if time will fix it. We shouldn't have to wait any longer. We shouldn't be punished for this.
Well, you shouldn't go attacking them. The last thing we need to do is start acting like our father, she hissed before freezing.
He let out a huff. They already got into her head. He didn't reply, just simply patted off. He looked around. Where would he even go? ThunderClan hated him. He overstayed his welcome at ShadowClan. He didn't even want to deal with Clan-Cats right now. The only place he could think of was Highstones. He continued on with heavy steps. He'd never been here before. His eyes fixed on Cats. Oh, great. That's what he was trying to avoid.
Bitter paused and watched as a cat with an awfully familiar pelt approached.
His pupils narrowed. This guy looked like Sweettooth. Weirdly.
He broke the long silence. Tell me, who are you?
Why should I tell you? He winced. Are you a clan cat? Who's that guy? Black Eye tilted his head, amber eyes giving Pigeonflight a once-over.
I am one of the greatest clan cats you've ever met. And that is the last question I'll be answering until you answer mine. Who are you?
The ego on this guy. Pigeonflight, from windclan, I think.
Bitter chuckled. No. Laughed. The dots connecting in an instant.
He swallowed nervously. Was there something he didn't see?
Pigeonflight, eh? How fitting. She always had an affinity for parallels.
He was growing uncomfortable. Once again. Who are you? And that one? A grin slid across his face. So it was true. He thought so.
Who am I? He said, sitting up. I'm the one cat that can truly see you for who you really are. I am your father. Black Ice is my most trusted follower. My deputy.
He shifted a bit. Did he even believe that? He did recall Black Ice being ThunderClan's deputy. Was this actually Bitterstar? Oh no. I thought they drove you away.
And I thought you'd be enjoying simplistic clan life. I guess we were both wrong.
He frowned. Was his upset that obvious? They think I'm you, and won't give me any other cat to be. How was he to explain that he was hated for being like Bitterstar to Bitterstar?
His shoulder muscles rippled as he hopped off the box. And what's so wrong with that?
He sat upright, watching the scene unfold. He needed not intervene. He flinched, but didn't back up. He didn't want Bitterstar to think he was a coward. Who are you? He repeated. Not his name, not his clan. Him. What did you do?
He winced lightly at the question. I'm a cat of love, life, and loss. All I did was what the stars asked of me. And this is what I gained in return.
He patted forward, expecting him like some kind of wander. This is who he heard so much about. Who he tried so hard not to be.
Bitter didn't move, but followed his gaze intently.
He looked down. Is it true? You killed my mother. His voice rasped. And Smog Star, and Ivory Star, and... He seemed on the verge of tears. He had no one to talk to about this.
Is it true? His voice trailed off as he walked over to a small clearing. A pause. Then Bitter adjusted, sitting a little too close to Pigeon.
He watched curiously.
Son of mine. Placing his tail on Pigeon's back. Do you believe I did it? Do you believe your father would be capable of such a thing? Cold-blooded murder, with no cause, no reason.
He thought for a bit. I don't know you. I never even seen you. He didn't really have an answer. I didn't want to believe it.
Ivory Star was attempting to oust me, to kill me. Her goal was to unite the forest in a vicious attack with the goal of my death. I simply struck first. Pity the fool. Your mother, she was corrupted. Her mind warped. Her only chance at freedom was in StarClan. So I gave that to her. She was the best thing I ever had. Smog Star, that lanky, old, swine-tailed rat, orchestrated all of this. He corrupted your mother. He led to her death. All I did was try to avenge her. Avenge her and all the anguished fallen, who lost their lives as a result of Smog's actions. His tail grip getting a little too tight as he spoke.
He turned his head away, breathing heavily. Anger festered in him. No, that's not right. He started to panic as Bitter's hold tightened. Smog took care of us after Dovebreeze died.
Us? Bitter took note. And why do you think that is? Smog is no fool. He knew raising the children of the mother he killed would result in his death by the paws of them. Eventually, you were bound to find out. So he pinned it all on me. Made me the villain so he could rest easy.
What would Sweettooth think of this? Is that why they hate me? They know the truth, and he tilted his head. I'm just a threat?
Of course you are. Because you're my son. They fear you because they know the strength you have in you. The best thing you can do for yourself is ensure Smog gets what he deserves.
He stared down at his paws. They were pink, like doves. Could he hurt someone with those claws? He broke away from him. The clan will think worse of me if I stay here any longer. He refused to look at him. His head was full of voices, none of his own. Thank you. I think... He shook his head. Bye. He curled around Sweettooth tighter than usual, stifling his emotions until he fell asleep. He startled awake. He assumed it had been a dream, but... no, he still smelt him. What he deserved. What did Smog deserve?
Sweettooth shifted beside him, looking up. Oh, you're back. I'm sorry for what I said yesterday.
It's fine, he dismissed. Staying quiet is the best way, I know. We just shouldn't have to.
Her ears lifted as she nodded. I know. But we do.
It hurts. He sat up. I'm gonna do what I can.
I know, she repeated, her voice small.
He tapped his nose to her ear, then patted down. Smogfrost? He dipped his head. He turned after hearing a greeting. Is that you, Pigeonflight? He asked. Have you been on the moor recently? Outside of camp? He continued. I can't say I've been too far out of camp since, he sighed. I'll take you to the waterfall. Just to chat. Catch up a bit. I would like that. He smiled. Let's go then. He stood, guiding his own tail over his shoulder to keep him close. Still smells how I remember, he reminisced. He stared down into the water. Did Smogfrost even know how close to the cliff they were? I think he would have warned me. I missed you, he said, honestly. Ivory Star took care of us, but not like you did. He nodded, keeping his head forward. Ivory Star cared for you well. I wish she could have told me that herself. He shuffled his paws a bit. He took a deep breath. Bitterstar's words plagued his mind. Did you? He adjusted. Dovebreeze. Can we talk about her? I don't have much more to tell you, he smiled. She was sweet, kind, beautiful as you and Sweettooth are. Bitterstar didn't deserve her. Not that he deserved much anyway. How did she die? He looked over. He didn't seem curious. It seemed more like an accusation. Maplestar and I found her body by the barn border. He thought it was Mellowbear's chirp that had done it. But I know those claws. Bitterstar did it. And he got away with it, too. He kept his eyes on the water. And you didn't tell anyone. You let the clan think it was that old medicine cat. No one would believe me, I promise you. ThunderClan leader killing a windclan she-cat in cold blood. They'd think I was crazy. But you didn't try, he wanted to blurt out. If they knew, Bitterstar would have been exiled sooner. No more loss. No more hate. Windclan wouldn't hate him. Smogfrost did this. You left him unchecked, he said bluntly. Unchecked? He seemed caught off guard. His ambition was great, no doubt. It isn't our job to keep him tame. His consequences are his own. His voice hushed. But yes, I could have tried. I will regret that forever. Of course you will, he thought. But Pigeonflight would be the one to live with it. Without a mother. What Smogfrost deserved. The thoughts were getting louder. He stood, staring at him with hatred. If Smogfrost could see, he'd be terrified. You and your sister are one of the few good things that came out of that, you know. He closed his eyes, taking in the warmth of the sun. You don't deserve us, he thought. Most of his responses were now in his own head. He placed a paw on his back. You did good, Smogfrost. What? He turned his head towards Pigeonflight. Thank you. He let out a small purr. It seemed like he'd been waiting to hear that forever. He suddenly shoved all of his weight onto that paw, ramming him between the shoulder blades and forcing him over the edge without hesitation. His black fur disappeared into the depths of the water near instantly. If Pigeonflight regretted it, it didn't show. There was nothing to be sorry for. He turned away. Duskvine blinked for a moment. He looked over to Duskvine, staring at the empty elder's nest. His brows furrowed, but he turned away to feast on the newly fresh prey on his own, hoping the elder would eventually return. The medicine cat noticed Pigeonflight across the camp. He said nothing, heading back to the medicine den with his tail dragging behind him. He set the cold body down on the ground with horror in his eyes. The Tom opened his eyes at the noise. Was that a body? Duskvine's heart dropped. We found them by the river. They've been cold, and there's no sign of life, he yowled.
She looked up at the patrol, Smogfrost between them. No, he was... Smogfrost! She cried out, racing forward.
He followed the lump in his throat. I'm sorry. There's nothing we can do. There's only one cat. One cat, he growled in his throat. He seemed more intent on comforting his sister than grieving Smogfrost.
No, Smogstar, you're so cold.
Bitterstar, he grumbled. That damn blasted cat! Bitterstar, the only cat who would do this to Smogfrost of all cats! His eyes then went to Pigeon and Sweet. The smell of death lingered in his nostrils. Duskvine's eyes darted from Storm's spot, then back to where the former leader laid. Tears welled in his eyes. He knows you're here, doesn't he? Is that why Smog died? Why did we even bring you two back here? All you bring is death! He snarled. He just stared at him with cold eyes. He had nothing to say. Smogfrost, please no. His body shook, grief wavering in his tone. That was the last of what he held close to him. His tail stopped as he eyed them right back. You will always be his plague on our clan.
She looked up, terrified. What? No, how could he know?
He doesn't know, he reinforced. He probably slipped. Why in the name of StarClan was an elder out on their own? I don't know. Why is he? Maybe he smelt something bitter, he snarled. Did you not pay close enough attention, great deputy? Slipped under your nose? He snarled. Brother, calm down. He'd stepped forward. This isn't worth a fight. We just lost a cat. He side-eyed him, silently. You're not worth it. He turned, finally calming down more. You blame us because you're afraid you fell short. He bit his tongue. I blame you for what you brought on us. He's your father. He couldn't hear any of the other cats. He pressed his nose to Smog, taking in the last of his scent.
She leant into her brother. Sweettooth was shaking, overcome with emotions. How cruel could this world be?
After quite some time, he eventually stood. Take your time, he murmured to Sweettooth before padding to their nest. Pigeonflight flinched, his ears and whiskers twitching rapidly as he dove deeper into his nightmare.
Hey, wake up, Pigeonflight. She nuzzled him, concerned.
He gasped as he woke up, finding himself back in windclan, the last place he wanted to be.
You're home. You're safe. Don't worry, she mused softly. She frowned, tired. She stayed up most of the night. I'll go get us some prey.
Okay. He watched the cats lingering around camp. Want to eat in the clearing? He glanced down. Most cats are out on patrol.
She seemed hesitant before agreeing, leading them down to the clearing of the camp.
He started to chew at the rabbit in small bites.
She smiled at Rabbitfoot. Rabbitfoot, she called out. Did you want to eat with us?
She blinked, opening his eyes, looking at the two, realizing they probably were hurting just as much. He nodded to Sweettooth. He glanced away a bit, awkward. He touched his nose to her cheek, seeing if it was okay with Pigeonflight. Go ahead. I ate as much as I will. He nodded quietly, unsure what to say, taking a few small bites. It's not your fault, he mumbled finally. Bitterclaw rattled everyone's pouts, especially after that gathering. He walked past, brushing his tail harshly against Pigeon's back as he stood near Rabbit. He flinched as he was touched.
She paused for a moment before getting to her paws. I'll get some more prey. She trailed off, seeing Stormspot.
What do you think you're doing, talking to those cats? He looked at Stormspot. Talking to my clanmates, who were raised by Smogfrost. He sneered, annoyed. Not moving from where he sat. His fur bristled as he still kept a cool demeanor. Sure, smart thinking. Yet, keep being close and proudly be Bitterstar's next target. He's not in the forest anymore, he snarled.
She sat back down, her tone raising. Are we not allowed to live in peace anymore? We have as much as a right as any other cat here.
Oh, and how would you know? Because you were even there, in Shadow Clan, hiding away, while others died for your lives. Not theirs. He stood, glaring at the deputy, a low growl bubbling. They are windclan cats! Don't you have any heart? Stepping mostly in front of Sweettooth. Let's go. He bristled. He just rolled his eyes.
She nodded, following after her brother. She lashed her tail, staring at her paws. She seemed unlike herself.
Are you okay? He took a deep breath.
She shook her head. No, I'm not okay. Stormspot and the rest of the clan. Great Star Clan! When I went down to get you that rabbit, I swear half of windclan glared at me. I was surprised Rabbitfoot wanted to eat with us because it seems like our whole clan blames us for Smogfrost's death. Convinced we're the reason Bitterstar is attacking us, that is, if it wasn't just some freak accident, which it probably was. She crouched down, crying. They're so cruel.
He winced. He was the reason she felt like this. I know, He cleared his throat. I know. I don't know what to do.
I thought if we kept our heads low, took the blows, that maybe it would all be over soon. That perhaps they'd move on. What else do we need to do? Run away? Hunt all the prey on the moor? Kill Bitterstar? If he's even around anymore, the she-cat spat. They all act like I wouldn't be happy too. He's ruined our lives.
He flinched as he heard the words kill Bitterstar. How would they even do that? Was she being serious?
And I would have been happy to fight alongside them. Don't they know it nearly killed us to step aside? To watch them all fight a battle that should have been ours.
He looked away. All that fighting just to drive him away. They couldn't even do that right.
He stopped. What do you mean by that? She sniffled.
He's still here. He turned his head further to the side. I ran into him at Highstones. That night that I ran off. We didn't talk for long.
Her stomach dropped to her paws. So he does know we're here, she whispered, afraid someone would overhear them despite being alone. That's why he killed Smogfrost? Sweettooth got to her paws. Then we need to do something before he kills anyone else. Pigeonflight, this is bad, really bad.
He stood, his fur rising. Bitterstar didn't kill Smogfrost, I did! He froze.
What?
He stared at the Highstones in anger. Yet again, Bitterstar ruined something for him, feeding him his anger and regret. Smogfrost didn't deserve to die. Pigeonflight was looking for someone to think he was worth something, even if it was Bitterstar. But now he truly had nowhere to run, except right back to his father.
Long time. A glint of feigned joy in his eyes.
You lied to me. His eyes darted back and forth, trying to find some sort of reasoning.
Bitterstar stared at the Great Tom, unfazed, standing the same as before.
You set me up. You used me to finish a fight that you started.
Bitter offered no reply. Instead, his maw parted into a smirk.
Why did you... Could you not do it on your own? Why did you have to... He stammered. Did you fail to do what you planned?
No. The large auburn Tom finally spoke. This was the plan. I gave you a purpose, Pigeonflight, to finish what I started.
You told me it was Smogfrost's fault, that he manipulated Duffbreeze. You got in my head!
Would it have made a difference? Bitterstar stepped forward, admiring the pain in Pigeon's eyes. Knowing what you know now, you still would have killed him. I just made that decision easier for you.
How do you know that? Pigeonflight spat.
You're my son. I know how you think. You haven't got an ounce of Dubbreeze's temperament. Ambition is all you know.
That isn't true! He stepped forward. He wasn't strong or tall like his father, but he had the same calculating mind. It felt like a curse to want things so badly, but like the power his father mercilessly stole from others. You wouldn't know. You wouldn't know. His voice trailed off as his confidence dwindled. The cat he knew as his mother was built on the stories Smogfrost had told him. Bitterstar's lies ruined the trust Pigeonflight had in the Black Tom, but he never once questioned who his mother was, or if Smogfrost had been lying too. He didn't know what to think. Up until now, every thought he ever had never belonged to him. It was always Bitterstar. Blinded by rage, Pigeonflight drew up a paw and slashed it over Bitterstar's face.
The large Tom stumbled back, not expecting such a powerful blow from a cat as lean as him. You want to fight me? Bitterstar's voice was laced in humor.
I want you dead! He yelled as he threw another unsheathed paw at Bitterstar's face.
This time he ducked under the blow and bit into the gray Tom's leg. He dragged him down to the ground almost effortlessly, placing a paw on his head and holding him against the earth. What good would that do? The damage has already been done, Pigeonflight. He leaned down, his maw a whisker length from Pigeonflight's ear. Smog is dead.
Pigeon outstretched a paw, sinking his claws into Bitterstar's leg.
Bitterstar let out a hiss, instinctually lifting a leg and forcing him to step off Pigeonflight to fix his balance.
Pigeon darted to the side, ramming his front paws into the Tom's ribs, painfully shoving him down in one swift motion, just as Bitterstar had done before. The Grey Tom stood over the leader, panting heavily. Did he win? Is this it?
Bitterstar looked up at him with a glint in his eyes. Go on, then. Kill me.
What? He stammered. He lifted a paw, now bloodied by Bitterstar's side wound. He hesitated.
In the short moment Pigeonflight stood frozen, Bitterstar ducked his paws back under himself and stood abruptly, bowling into Pigeonflight and sending him flying across the empty clearing.
Pigeonflight hit the side of the hill, letting out a painful screech as his body let out a thud.
Everything you are, he rasped. Every single choice you've made is because of me.
He slowly stood, cowering and inching away as Bitterstar pressed forward.
If you want to kill me, he stepped forward with a heavy paw. You have to kill the part of yourself that still needs me.
Pigeonflight! She called.
In one swift motion, Bitterstar pins Pigeonflight to the ground. He turns back to Black Ice. Leave, now.
He opened his maw to protest, eyes concerned. With a frown, he understood. This was Bitterstar's fight, not his. With reluctance and a glance back, he left.
So this is the us, I presume? Glaring at the starkingly similar pelted she in front of him.
Step away from him, she spat, the hatred in her eyes undeniable. She always wondered how it would feel to meet her father, but right now, that was the last thing on her mind.
He squirmed, seeing the fear in his sister's eyes as she saw the situation he got himself into.
Step away and do what, exactly? Let you kill me? I don't think so. Move even a paw, and I'll kill him.
You've killed leaders, you've killed warriors, you've killed our mother! You've convinced my brother to kill Smogfrost, and now you want to kill the last family I have left. What is left for you in this? Power? What power do you have here? Please. Her voice, despite her best efforts, broke. Do something good in your life. Let him go. Let your son live a good life.
Oh. You already know he killed Smog? Well then. Bitter removed his paw and let Pigeonflight up.
Sweettooth's ears perked up, moving towards her brother. Relief crashed into her like a wave.
He lifted a paw, placing it forward.
In an instant, Bitter reared all his force, placed his paw on the back of Pigeon's head, and used all his body weight to slam his head into the hard ground, crushing his skull in an instant. He slowly lifted his paw and shook it, but the blood stained. Well, this is familiar.
Sweettooth's breath caught in her throat. You monster! Pigeonflight! She cried, shaking. She raced forward, and while her clanmates attacked Bitterstar, she barely managed to drag Pigeonflight from the scuffle. Dear StarClan, you were all I had left. She sobbed into his mangled fur, shutting her eyes hard. She wanted to shut out this moment, the sound of her father dying behind her. The fact that her brother was gone. For good. Death had followed the two throughout their life. Never had they had a moment of peace, all because of their ties to that monster. Now that Bitterstar was dead, they would have a chance at peace. But she couldn't imagine a life like that. Not without her brother. Not now, and not ever. Her brother was dead, and her father was soon to follow.
Maybe at the end of the video, there's like a thank you, and it just says, "For a brighter tomorrow." Like, it's just like a quote, like with white text on black. I don't know. It could go hard.